In the early 20th century, amidst an era of unprecedented technological advancements and human ambition, the RMS Titanic was conceived. This was a time when humanity believed it could conquer nature, bend it to its will, and the Titanic was a shining symbol of this unflinching belief. Born from the genius minds at the White Star Line, the Titanic was more than just a ship. It was a marvel of modern engineering, a testament to human ingenuity. The grandeur of this ship was unmatched, with luxurious interiors that rivaled the finest hotels of the era. From its opulent first-class cabins to the grand staircase, the Titanic was meant to be a floating palace, offering the finest comforts to its passengers. But the Titanic wasn't just about luxury, it was also about safety. State-of-the-art amenities were complemented by advanced safety features. The ship was designed with a series of watertight compartments, a novel approach aimed at preventing flooding in the event of a collision. The compartments were designed to limit the inflow of water, ensuring that even if some were breached, the ship would remain afloat. In addition to these compartments, the Titanic also boasted a double-bottom hull, a feature that provided an extra layer of protection against underwater damage. This combination of safety features was believed to make the Titanic virtually unsinkable, and so, the Titanic set sail, carrying with it the hopes and dreams of a new era. It was a symbol of human achievement, of the limitless potential of technology. But with this grandeur and confidence came a dangerous underestimation of nature's power. The Titanic's designers believed that the combination of these compartments and a double-bottom hull made the ship virtually unsinkable. But as we now know, even the most advanced technology of the time could not prevent the tragedy that was to unfold. The Titanic, the unsinkable ship, was about to meet its fate, reminding us all of the perils of overconfidence and the fragility of human ambition. The Titanic was cruising through the North Atlantic on the night of April 14, 1912, when it struck an iceberg. The collision was catastrophic. The iceberg scraped along the starboard side of the ship, buckling the hull plates and popping rivets. In the aftermath, it became clear that the ship's design was not as foolproof as once believed. The Titanic was equipped with 16 watertight compartments, designed to isolate and contain flooding. However, the collision had compromised 5 of these compartments. The ship's designers had never anticipated such extensive damage. Their belief in the ship's invincibility was rooted in the assumption that only a few compartments could be breached at a time. But here's the catch. These watertight compartments were not fully sealed at the top, a design flaw that would prove fatal. As the damaged compartments filled with freezing seawater, the weight caused the ship to tilt. The water in the breached compartments began to spill over into the adjacent ones, like water in an ice cube tray. This domino effect led to more and more compartments succumbing to the onslaught of the sea. The Titanic's double-bottom hull, another safety feature, was also compromised. The hull was meant to provide extra protection against underwater obstacles, but it was no match for the iceberg's jagged edges, which tore through the steel like paper. Despite the ship's advanced technology, human error also played a part in the tragedy. The Titanic had been warned about ice in the area but was traveling at near full speed when it hit the iceberg. The ship's lookouts, despite their best efforts, didn't spot the iceberg until it was too late. The crew's desperate attempts to stem the flooding were in vain. With each passing minute, the Titanic sank lower and lower into the icy depths of the North Atlantic. Panic ensued among the passengers and crew as the gravity of the situation dawned on them. The ship, once a symbol of human ambition and technological prowess, was now a ticking time bomb. As a result, the ship began to list and eventually sink. The Titanic's ill-fated voyage serves as a stark reminder of the perils of overconfidence and the limits of human ingenuity. The unsinkable ship had met its match in the unforgiving North Atlantic, marking the beginning of one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters in history. Panic ensued as passengers and crew scrambled to board lifeboats and abandon ship. The Titanic, the beacon of human achievement, was sinking, and the realization sent a wave of terror that rippled through the decks. The enormity of the situation was only magnified by the harsh reality that there were not enough lifeboats for everyone on board. The Titanic was equipped with lifeboats to accommodate slightly more than half of its passengers, a decision driven by aesthetics and misguided confidence rather than safety. The ship's owners believed that the abundance of safety features on the ship itself negated the need for a large number of lifeboats. This belief, however, proved to be fatally flawed. The sinking of the Titanic was a slow and agonizing process. As the icy waters of the Atlantic flooded the ship's compartments, the balance was lost and the Titanic began its tragic descent. Desperate attempts were made to signal for help, to send out distress calls into the vast, cold night. But help was hours away, and time was a luxury they did not have. The ship's band played on, a haunting melody to accompany the cries and chaos. Women and children were loaded onto lifeboats, while many men were left behind, adhering to the maritime tradition of women and children first. Some lifeboats left the sinking ship half full, a harrowing testament to the lack of emergency preparedness and training. As the last lifeboat was lowered, those left on the ship were faced with a grim reality. The unsinkable ship was indeed sinking. The Titanic, in all its grandeur and glory, was being claimed by the very element it was designed to conquer. The sinking of the Titanic exposed flaws in maritime safety regulations and sparked sweeping reforms in ship design, emergency procedures, and rescue operations. The tragedy of the Titanic resonated far beyond the icy waters of the North Atlantic. It was a wake-up call, a stark reminder of the perils of overconfidence and the dire need for sufficient safety measures. The aftermath of the disaster brought about significant changes in maritime regulations. The International Convention for the Safety of Life at Sea, or SOLAS, was established in 1919. It was a direct response to the Titanic disaster and aimed to improve safety standards on passenger ships. Key changes included mandatory lifeboat drills, sufficient lifeboats for all passengers, and the establishment of the International Ice Patrol to monitor iceberg activity in the North Atlantic. In terms of ship design, the sinking of the Titanic led to a rethinking of the unsinkable concept. Future ship designs incorporated lessons learned from the tragedy. Ships were constructed with double hulls, and watertight compartments were extended higher up the ship, preventing the spillover effect that had doomed the Titanic. Emergency procedures and rescue operations also saw drastic improvements. Ships were required to maintain 24-hour radio watch to ensure distress signals could be received at any time. The Titanic's distress signals had gone unanswered for crucial hours because nearby ships had their radios turned off for the night. This change alone could have saved countless lives had it been in place on that fateful night in April 1912. The Titanic disaster was a harsh lesson in the limitations of technology and the dangers of complacency. It forced a re-evaluation of safety standards and procedures that have undoubtedly saved lives in the years since. It was a tragedy that should never have happened, a product of human error and overconfidence. But it was also a turning point, a catalyst for change that transformed maritime safety. It remains one of the deadliest peacetime maritime disasters in history. The story of the Titanic serves as a stark reminder of the price of hubris and the importance of constant vigilance in the face of potential disaster. Today, the Titanic rests in its watery grave at the bottom of the North Atlantic Ocean, serving as a haunting reminder of the perils of overconfidence and the fragility of human ambition. The once majestic ship, a marvel of early 20th century engineering, now lies broken and scattered across the ocean floor. Its opulent interiors have been replaced by eerie silence, its grandeur consumed by the relentless passage of time. Over a century has passed since the Titanic's ill-fated maiden voyage, yet the echoes of that tragic night continue to resonate. The ship's wreckage, discovered in 1985, has been explored and documented extensively, revealing a chilling snapshot of the disaster. Through these explorations, we've been given a glimpse into the lives of those on board, their hopes and dreams forever entwined with the ship's tragic fate. The Titanic's story is a stark reminder of the dangers of hubris. The belief in the ship's invincibility, coupled with a disregard for adequate safety measures, led to a disaster of unimaginable scale. The Titanic's sinking was not just a failure of technology, but a failure of human judgment. It teaches us that no matter how advanced our creations, we must always respect the unpredictable and unforgiving forces of nature. In the wake of the tragedy, maritime safety regulations underwent a significant overhaul. The number of lifeboats required on board was increased, and international ice patrols were established to monitor iceberg threats. The Titanic's sinking served as a wake-up call, sparking a renewed emphasis on safety over speed and luxury. The Titanic's legacy continues to captivate our imaginations. Its tale of ambition, hubris, and tragedy is a timeless narrative that resonates with each passing generation. It serves as a poignant reminder of the human cost of overconfidence and the importance of caution in the face of nature's might. The unsinkable ship that met tragedy continues to captivate our imaginations and remind us of the profound consequences of hubris. May we never forget the lives lost and the lessons learned from the sinking of the RMS Titanic.